The new BMW 5 Series, ladies and gentlemen. And as you know, this is pitted against, again, the all-new Mercedes-Benz E-Class. And seems like a lot of you don't like the way it looks, but I'll tell you something. This car has some things going for it, and I've driven this car, of course, in a very exhaustive manner. And I also got to drive the new E-Class, not the media car, but one of my relatives bought the car, so I had a short drive. So I can really share a lot of insights with you about why this car is better than the other one and why the E-Class is better than this one in a lot of other respects. But a lot of people have been saying that the 5 Series does not look as good and that the E-Class has better interiors and whatnot. I'll tell you what, there are some clear advantages going with this one too. So you need to watch this video till the end if you're considering the two cars or if you're generally interested in knowing which of the two is the better car to drive. Let's get going with this. Number one, the new 5 Series is significantly longer than the E-Class, not just in terms of the length, but also the wheelbase, in terms of its width, in terms of its height, and most importantly, I think in terms of the ground clearance, it's better than the E-Class. So that's one advantage that it has. It has significantly better cabin space. Does that really translate into better comfort for the occupants? We'll find that out soon. But it is a bigger car, and while not a lot of people have agreed with what BMW have tried to do with the face of this car or the bonnet, what I can tell you is that this illuminated grille does announce its arrival from a distance. So if you're going to be getting off the car at a party at a 5-star hotel, this car is going to grab a lot of attention. Also, while this is radically different, it takes a little bit getting used to, and over a period of time, this new quirky design, which is prevalent almost with every manufacturer, is going to get a little bit more accepted. I observed this with the new iX also, which isn't pleasing to the eye initially, but look at it for long enough and you get to understand that it is a new design direction that a lot of car companies are taking, and this also is an experiment of that sort. Apart from that, you get these auto headlamps which are LEDs, you get this massive air vent and a lot of crisscrosses, and the primary contrasting color here for the grille, these vertical slats as well as these crisscrosses, is this dull golden color, which is also sometimes referred to as titanium. And to me, the front looks imposing for sure, if not pretty. So it has a long bonnet, and while the car arrives, a lot of people do turn around and have a look. The car does not come with a proper level 2 ADAS. It has some autonomous driving features like auto park, etc., but it does not come with level 2 ADAS, and the Mercedes E-Class does. So that's where it has a disadvantage. Now coming towards the side, you'd see that clearly the ground clearance here, if you've seen the Mercedes E-Class, it's slightly better, and in practice it goes over bad bumps a lot better. While in the Mercedes E-Class, you're constantly pressing your leg against the floor as a passenger because you're just waiting for that scratching sound to come from the bottom of your car. This car goes over bad bumps rather well, and the ride quality also is better. And that, by the way, is by virtue of A, the ground clearance, and B, these 18-inch standard wheels, which are shod with a higher profile tire. So the ride quality here is fantastic. They may not look as smashing. Of course, you can have them replaced with bigger 19 inches, but these really add to the supple ride quality. It's quite contradictory to what we are used to with BMWs. You have a slightly stiffer ride quality, but dare I say, the ride quality on this one is actually better than the Mercedes E-Class. It's available only in this M Sport trim, and that's the reason why you see all these crisscrosses on the front bumper and on a lot of other places also, as this is not available in the vanilla flavor. It's the M Sport variant that'll be available to you. Now, the entire greenhouse area is covered in this titanium slash dull gold color, and you also get this 5 lettering around the Hofmeister kink, and it is also illuminated. A lot of people have liked it, a lot of people have not liked it. What do you think about it? Do let us know in the comment section. The ORVMs also have a bit of this dull gold color, and it also gets this 360-degree camera unit. The roof, as you can see, swoops down towards the rear, but it does not do that too dramatically. So there is a good amount of headroom inside, and the shark fin antenna doesn't have a very prominent fin, so you really cannot call it a shark fin antenna. This car also gets a very big panoramic sunroof, which is fixed glass, so the glass won't move, only the blinds will move. Another important detail that you do well to notice is that the boot is not quite pronounced. It gets this fastback kind of a look, where the boot is not separated from the rest of the body. So while the bonnet is long and it's a unit, it's not a proper 3-box design. It's a like 2-box design, and it looks quite sporty from the side as well. Are you missing the connected light? Do let me know, because it seems like it has become quite mandatory for manufacturers to connect the 2 lights within LED. I don't mind 2 separate lights, and this car doesn't get swipe out blinkers. Here you have the tail light functions. This is the reverse light, and overall it's a clean design, but people have not quite come to terms with these angular inserts here again in dull gold, and you also get this 4 diffuser. All of these things are quite different from how athletically elegant the previous generation car was, and while the interior of this car is absolutely smashing, it's definitely a level above the previous generation car. A lot of people say that the previous generation car was a little bit more proportional, it was a little bit more pleasing to the eye and more beautiful. Let's open the powered boot. And here you have about 500 liters of boot space, which is sufficient for a family of 4 traveling for long distances. And you also have some more crevices here, like this one, where it seems like someone has put a few bottles. A similar space on the other side as well. Underneath, you have a space saver spare which can limp you back to home, and also you have these little spaces where you can put a few small items. What's funny though is that the back seat is not 40-20-40 or 60-40 split. Come on BMW, I would want you to provide me that feature, because a lot of cheaper cars are doing that too. And combined with the fact that the Mercedes-Benz has a bigger boot space, a significantly bigger boot space, I really think that that feature should have been there. So again, comparing it with the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, while this car has a longer wheelbase, it's bigger, the boot space is not as big as it probably could have been. Also, this is the removable neck pillow that enhances the comfort inside the cabin, and that's where we're going to go. Let's also have a look at the key, and this is not a very metallic or heavy key. This feels a little bit plasticky. This is the lock button, and you have the rest of the buttons here. And as you approach the car, you'd see that the car senses your arrival and the car is unlocked automatically. You don't really have to take the key out of your pocket. And these beautiful flush fitting door handles can be pulled out to enter a cabin which definitely reeks of quality. And it may not be as jazzy or may not have as many screens as the E-Class, but I can tell you that the quality is absolutely fantastic, and in my books the quality of materials here is a notch above what I experienced in the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. And you can experience all of that right before you enter the cabin. This is soft to touch, this is soft to touch, this is soft to touch, this is soft to touch. All of these materials are soft to touch. This is an open grain wood with these streaks which look rather beautiful to me, and the color for ambient lighting is also projected through this thick bar, which lends the cabin a very nice ambience. And the covers for the Bowers and Wilkins audio system are also finished in the dull grey, which seems to be the central theme. The door panels also have a lot of space, and you have a boot release button here as well. You have 2 memory settings for the seat, and here you have a button to get to the seat controls directly onto the screen, which I'm going to show you just now. Now, since this is the M Sport variant, you also have this illuminated M branding here on the door sills, and you have electric controls for the seat and 4-way lumbar support as well. Now have a look at this dashboard, this cabin, and do let me know what you think of the design of this. How do you like the screens? They're curved, they're slightly tilted towards the driver. BMW screens and the controls have always been very driver oriented, and such is the case with these screens and this entire interface as well. The steering is very chunky and nice to hold. It's flat bottomed and it gets this M branding. I also like these sporty bits on the spokes, and again the dull gold treatment is present here as well. Comes with paddle shifters. They are not very high quality, but they have not tried to cover it with metallic colors and give you a false impression that they are metallic. You also get this boost button here, which is essentially to give you the boost. This car also comes with a 48-volt mild hybrid system, which enhances the power by 11 HP and 20 Newton meters. So you can use that extra electric power by using this button. And generally, the quality, as I mentioned, is of a very high order. This is very nice soft to touch material. This is open grain wood with these inserts here, which remind me somewhat of Japanese culture of joining broken porcelain with gold to give it a very grand look. And letting the world know that even if you're broken, if you join yourself with a material which is more beautiful than what you were, you're actually going to turn out into a more beautiful human being. So I think, that probably is the inspiration of this. But overall, I like the layout. However, I think that the MBUX on Mercedes is more intuitive. Right now, as I see, there are just too many icons here, and it's quite difficult to navigate through everything. I'm not saying that it's cumbersome. It has its own learning curve. Like in a day, you would be able to figure it out. But I'm just saying that the Mercedes system is a little bit better looking, and it also is a little bit more intuitive as well. Now, as you look at all of this, there are a few things that you need to know. This button here will get you directly to your seat controls, where you have the seat climate control. The seats are ventilated but not heated up front. The screen here is 14.9 inches, which is slightly bigger than the Mercedes' 14.4 inches. This screen is the same, 12.3 inches for both the cars. However, the Mercedes also gets a third screen here for the passenger, and the passenger in turn can control the climate, entertainment, telephony, etc. A lot of controls are there for the passenger as well. So that's one feature which is missing here. Also, you would not see any AC vents here, and they're very neatly hidden somewhere here. So this control that you see here will increase or decrease the blower speed. So if you want to just shut it off, you'll go to 0 and this blower will stop working. And then to control the flow up, down or sideways, you have these little controls which are neatly tucked away. Now, how effective are they? Well, the flow definitely is not as much as it is in the visible vents, but they do lend this car a touch of class, and the AC also could have been a little bit quicker. Today is a hot day and the car is taking a little bit of time to cool the cabin completely. Now you also have these 3 buttons here. So this one will take you to the lighting settings, and you can control the lighting using this button, and then using this button you can go to either dip beam or automatic driving lights. So you have a physical control for that as well. And finally, for the rear fog lamps also you have a button right here. There is a very massive dead pedal for relaxed long journeys. I would have liked metal pedals here, but what the hell. The steering wheel is also electrically rake and reach adjustable, which is the same on the Mercedes E-Class as well. The seats very comfortable, and the bolstering is also very nice. My complaint generally with these cars is that a lot of other cars which are from the lower segment, like for example, we have the BMW iX1 parked there, and that car also comes with seat thigh support extenders, but this one does not. I would have really liked these cars to have that feature, and it's not available here. Although the Mercedes E-Class also does not have that feature. Now, the ambient lighting, which is the highlight of this cabin with its thick bars, can be had in any color you want, as long as it's one of these preset colors. Also, when you turn the hazards on, the cabin will blink with red light for a little while before turning back to the color that you initially chose. Now, to choose one of the many modes that this car comes with, you can press this My Modes button here, and you have personal, sport, efficient, expressive, relaxed, digital, art and silent modes to choose from. And not just does that change the ambient lighting and the color of the central display, but also the instrument console, and you can choose any of these modes very easily. Let's also have a look at the 360-degree camera on this car, and right now, as you can see, I'm in reverse, so it's showing me the rear view, and this button here will change the view, move the camera based on the guide lights, as you can see. But if you choose this one, it'll stay static, only the guide lines will change. And then you can have a look at the 2 wheels from the left or right. That's again another option. If I put it to drive, then it'll start showing me the front camera, and now it's showing me the front again based on whether I want it to move along with the guidelines or be static. That's something that I can choose. Then you can go to the assist view, you can go to the panoramic view, which is a really wide view, and then you also have the 3D view where you can see the whole car. And then you can change the view by choosing one of the camera angles. It does not go up and down like a lot of other cars do, so that's a limiting factor. Then you have the car wash view as well, and you can clean the cameras, both front and rear, or just the front or just the rear as well. The 5 Series also comes with an NFC key which you can use, and apart from that, when you look at the storage spaces, there's a lot of storage space here. So you have this wireless charger which can be used for your wallet or cell phone, another space for a cell phone, these adjustable cup holders. There are 2 Type-C USB fast chargers here, And then this entire central panel has this crystal-like iDrive controller, which I don't really think is of much use in this day and age of touchscreens, but it's there anyway. And start-stop, drive selector, electronic parking, auto hold. This button brings you directly to the navigation screen. This is for the telephony, and this one is for the media. You can go directly to the home by using this button here, and you have the volume controls, seek as well as mode control here, and this button here is going to get you to the driver assistance and drivetrain and chassis settings, and this one is the button to bring on the cameras. You have a lot of storage space here as well. You can put a wallet, a couple of cell phones, a 12-volt power socket is here, and apart from that, as I mentioned, the space in the door panels also is quite good. So there are a lot of storage spaces here, no worries on that front. The glove box is rather small and it's not cooled as well. Now about a small little feature that this car has, the E-Class here comes with a camera which can be used for teleconferencing, while this does not allow that feature. Now this system also comes with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It also comes with some games, etc. And it also comes with a drive recorder. If you have a USB, you can record it as a dash cam. And it also comes with an interior camera which would allow you to take your own pictures. Right now we are not logged in, so it's not allowing that, but you can take your own pictures inside the cabin using this camera as well. But you cannot do teleconferencing like you can on the E-Class. Then apart from that, one thing that bothers me a little bit is that you cannot control the blower level anywhere on this dash, and you necessarily have to go to the screen to change the blower settings. Now another important thing is about the level 2 ADAS features that I talked about, and while this comes with auto park, it does not even come with adaptive cruise control, which is a very usable feature in our conditions, and that's a miss. In all honesty, that feature should have been there and it's missing. Having said all of that, this car still comes with lane departure warning. It also comes with forward collision warning, and as I mentioned, it also comes with auto park, but that's not at par with what a lot of cars which are from a much smaller segment are still offering. It also comes with 7 airbags as standard, but the Mercedes comes with 8 standard airbags, and the panoramic sunroof here is quite huge, and it rolls into the front of the car from the back, and the glass does not move, as I mentioned, but it is a big panoramic sunroof. Now by this time, if you're thinking that the E-Class has an advantage over this car, well, you just need to wait for some time, because there are some really solid advantages with this car. But before we get there, I need to tell you that the quality of materials here is really impressive, and what I really like is the solidity and the overall material quality, which is absolutely fantastic. And while the visuals of the E-Class are better, you can find a lot of cheap quality materials and bits and pieces here and there on that car, but here most of the materials that I see, feel and touch are high quality, except probably the paddle shifters, but everything else is either glass or high quality piano black. All of these central materials are also of a very high quality, so the quality is of a top order, and while you're sitting here, you do feel that you're sitting in a car which is built to last. Finally, the Bowers & Wilkins system here, as compared to the Burmester, may not have as many features or as much wattage, but I've always loved Bowers & Wilkins systems for their clarity, for their balance, and for a true audiophile. I think these match up with the Burmester system, and the sound profile here is also great. However, the audio output, the way they look, and the overall customizability on the E-Class is better when it comes to the audio system. So that's that about the front, guys. It's not visually as appealing as the E-Class, but it is very substantial. It is missing out on some features. And time now to get to the back seat, which by the way is the most important aspect of a long wheelbase car like this. And while you may not be as impressed with this car when I compare it to the E-Class, I'll tell you some very specific things which this car aces the E-Class at. Let's see what's there and what's not. Now there's no dearth of space in the door panel here, and you also get this really finely crafted cover for the Bowers & Wilkins speaker here as well. All of these materials are of a very high quality. What's missing is a blind here, which by the way is available in the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. You also get an illuminated M sill plate here, and getting inside is a breeze. The seat height is just about perfect. The doors shut with the reassuring BMW thud, and the seat angle is also very comfortable. You also get these nice soft cushioned pillows which I showed you a while back. There is ample knee room, leg room, and the headroom also here is more than sufficient. You also get this wide armrest with a wireless charger. Press this button and this whole thing slides out for 2 adjustable cup holders. Flip this open and there is ample storage space here as well. You get a 4-zone climate control and you have some space to spare here. No complaints there. And here you have the AC vents with the flow controls. You don't have any entertainment screens here. Neither does the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, so that's not a problem. The seats by themselves are very comfortable, and if you don't want to fidget around, they would keep you very comfortable. You have these reading lights here which are controlled by these soft touch buttons, coat hook, retracting handle to grab on, proper 3-point seat belts for 3 passengers, although you cannot seat 3 here because this is a raised transmission tunnel and these cars are essentially meant to seat 4 only. So all of that is fantastic. So in isolation this is a fantastic seat. The problem is that you don't get 40-20-40 or 60-40 split seats, which I think should have been there. Let's start talking about a few things where we compare this to the E-Class. Before I do that, you also have AC vents in the B pillar as well. You have a Type-C USB socket at the back of both the front seat backs as well. Now, comparing it with the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Now the big difference is that the seat angle there can be reclined to up to 36 degrees and you get a control for it. You also get electric controls for the seats at the back. So that's the primary difference. The overall leg room here is slightly better, but it's not utilized to its full potential. Also, in the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, you get electric blinds, not just for this part here, but you get manual blinds for all the small glasses as well and for the back as well. So the Mercedes-Benz gets more amenities, and apart from all of this, the audio system there also gives you a 4D sound. So if you're sitting in the front seat, you'd feel some vibrations along with the music, and that adds to that feeling of bass, and that also is missing here. So all of those things are missing. But now at this point I want to tell you something which is very important, and that is the default seat quality here is quite good. The leg room is fantastic. It has a longer wheelbase, so it allows you to stretch your legs better. The most important thing is the ride quality, and there is a significant difference in terms of how these two cars feel. If you take all of those other things like the electrical adjustments, etc., out of the equation, the ride quality, what really matters, is better on this car. So if you're being driven on a road which has bad patches, and if you're driving at a slow speeds, the vertical movement can be felt a lot more in the E-Class, and here it is a lot more supple. It's better absorbed. Also, while going over those bumps, this car will deal with the bad roads better. It will go over them without brushing its underbelly, and all of those things matter. So in terms of genuine engineering, this car has a better ride quality and it is more comfortable. The Mercedes has slightly better seats and electric controls along with the blinds, which makes it look and to some feel also a little bit better. But in my experience, these seats, when you're being driven, would feel more comfortable thanks to the better suspension. An important thing to notice here again is that here you don't have any controls to push this seat forward and create more leg room for yourself if you are the boss. And for a car which is supposed to be a limo, I don't really think that's acceptable. And I don't understand why, but you know, this is a very basic feature which should have been here and it's not there. Also, you don't have seat ventilation and seat heating, etc. for this seat, which is the very reason for this car to exist. It's a long wheelbase version, and if I'm the boss and I don't get seat ventilation while my driver does, what's the bloody point? And this is a problem with not just this car, but with the E-Class as well, and that's a serious omission. I really think that these German car makers need to think about these smaller features. I mean, go ahead and have a look at the Kia Carnival. Those seats are going to feel more comfortable than this one, and I really think that this is something to ponder about for these luxury car makers. And that's the thing, while the E-Class comes across as a car which is more desirable, the BMW 5 Series is a car which seems like it's better engineered, and there is no way to tell which one drives better but to get behind the steering wheel and feel it on the road. Let's do that. So this is what I was talking about. Even when you're in the rough, you're off the road, you don't really have to bother as much as you would in the Mercedes E-Class. As I mentioned, I was driving one of my relatives' E-Class a few days back, and I was constantly bothered about whether it's going to brush its belly with a hump or with a stone, and that feeling is definitely not there with the 5 Series. So you definitely have an advantage if you're taking this car slightly off the road or on bad surfaces, or you're going to be taking it over bad speed breakers. So that definitely is an advantage. Also, the ride quality, thanks in part to the 18-inch wheels and the higher profile tires, is a lot suppler, and it's quite opposite to what we have seen with BMW cars in the past, where BMW cars used to be stiffer and they used to be more uncomfortable. But of late, I really think that BMW cars are slightly more comfortable than Mercedes-Benz cars, and this is no exception. It is indeed more comfortable than the new E-Class, and I can say that with a lot of confidence after having driven both the cars. Now, as you can see, there is absolutely no road here. I'm still on my way to the road, and I'm 100% sure that the E-Class would have brushed its belly here. And it's just a simulation of what a bad speed breaker would be. And the problem is that you try to keep your car on the road, but the roads in India are such that if there's a bad speed breaker, despite all your efforts, the car is going to brush your belly. And for a premium car, that does not feel nice. You're constantly like shutting your eyes and trying to make sure that it doesn't brush its belly, and it still happens, and it's not such a nice feeling. So in that sense, from a practicality standpoint, I really think that the 5 Series feels better. Not just that, this car is also more powerful. It's 258 HP of power as opposed to 200 something, a little bit higher than 200 on the E-Class. The torque here is also higher at 400 Newton meters as opposed to the 320 Newton meters on the E-Class. And the time, the 0 to 100 time here is also 6.5 seconds, which is about a little less than 2 seconds quicker than the E-Class. So in terms of the driving experience, this car feels a lot quicker. It has more power. It's a rear wheel drive drivetrain though. In terms of the fun to drive factor on roads like these, which are open and well paved, the 5 Series definitely feels a lot better to drive. And by a lot, I mean a lot, really a lot. The steering feels a lot more alive to me. And while the suspension is softer, yes, but it's not all that much of a difference in terms of how the car feels on the road. But the feeling from the steering, the acceleration and all of that makes it a better driver's car. So while there are many advantages associated with the E-Class in terms of features and the way the cabin looks and whatnot, when you really want to drive the car, it's the 5 Series I'll pick over the E-Class for the matchable variant, that is, because the E-Class also comes with a 3-liter V6 which produces more than 400 HP of power, and it's a fantastic car to drive. If you're ready to pay about 25 lakh rupees extra for the same badge, you can go with the E-Class as well, but that's a significant difference. It's almost in the territory of the S-Class. So in that sense, I really believe that the 5 Series is the better car of the two to drive. And in the real world, with the petrol, you'll get a fuel efficiency of about 9 kmpl within the city. On the highway, in the eco mode or in the efficiency mode, what BMW likes calling it, you'll get about 14 kilometers to the liter, and that's not bad at all for a petrol. Of course, if you're driving enthusiastically, that number is going to go down, but it is still a very good number for a car which drives so well. Apart from that, this car also has a party trick up its sleeve, and for that you essentially have to choose the sport mode. You go to My Modes, choose sport mode where traction control is off, and then after that you get in the S1, which is basically the manual mode in S, and after that you'd be able to build the revs all the way high up, which is generally not allowed, and that is the launch control mode, and which propels you to 100 in the fastest possible time. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. Let's go. As you can see, it's going all the way to the red line, and we are already through to 105 kilometers per hour, and that went real fast. And if you want to be doing that, you won't be able to do that in the E-Class. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you're someone who wants to be driving the car yourself and someone who really cares about the comfort as well in terms of the suspension system, the 5 Series is a better car. Now, apart from that, the tires on this car, of course, around bends, they feel slightly roly-poly because they're not, the wheels are not as stiff, and the suspension system on this car is more comfortable, but the car still feels completely in control. The insulation is fantastic. There is absolutely no tire noise or ambient noise coming in, and overall the feeling from behind the steering wheel is that of a car which is as involving as it is comfortable. And if you're someone who's going to be doing a bit of both, like a bit of driving as well as sitting in the back seat, I think the 5 Series is a car that presents itself as slightly more practical, slightly more usable, and a little bit more suited for our conditions than the Mercedes E-Class. Of course, if you're going to be talking only about how the car looks from the outside, how inoffensive it is and how much better it looks on the inside in terms of the screens and everything else, the E-Class has a little bit more appeal. But purely from a driver's perspective, with all my experience over all these years, I think the driver will still pick the BMW. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and convince you to buy this car, because I'll be very honest, the E-Class does come across as a car which is more agreeable, and for someone who walks into the showroom, that car will look more inoffensive to the eye. The interior will look a little bit richer. The back seat is definitely better in terms of how it can recline and all of the other functions that it has. But if you look at it purely from an engineering perspective, how the car drives, how comfortable the back seats are based on the fact that the suspension system on this car is better. And if you're an enthusiast who at times wants to drive himself as well, the 5 Series is definitely the better car of the two. And while the E-Class is more well-rounded, it's a better car to get off from. It's also a better car to be sitting in the back seat of. For someone who wants to be driving himself, for someone who wants real comfort in the back seat, and someone who wants that solidity in the build, I would pick the 5 Series of the two. So both the cars have their own advantages, and the 5 Series, while it's not very agreeable in terms of the way it looks, it still has the very solid BMW qualities that we love this brand for. Now, this car is available only with the 2-liter petrol. It doesn't have a diesel, it doesn't have a bigger engine. The Mercedes comes with the 2-liter petrol, which is less powerful. It comes with the diesel, which is more efficient. It also comes with a 3-liter V6, which is stonking in terms of power, but it also costs about 25 lakh rupees more. So, I mean, if you have that kind of money, then you can enjoy that power. But mind you, it's a significantly higher amount of money. In the base variants also, the BMW is about 5 lakh rupees cheaper ex-showroom, which means that on the road, it would be cheaper by about 6-7 lakh rupees minimum. And the features that you see missing here would probably be seen in the amount of money that you save. So there you have it, guys, the two cars which are arch rivals and at this point in time are going head to head. For those of you who want to drive themselves, for those who love engineering more than the features, the BMW 5 Series, and for those who want a classic look and a richer looking interior and a backseat with more features, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. I really hope that I was able to answer all your questions about these two cars, this one in particular and the other one, because you would want to consider that as well. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Motoroids, and until next time, this is your friend Amit Chhangani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.